Teacher Kumu and Teacher Chris are here as well. So welcome to our PTC. So first, I'd like to tell you some things that we'll be discussing. I won't keep you very long because we want to spend the majority of our time sharing information with you about your child's progress. But I'm just quickly going to go through the work that your child has done this year in each of the levels. As you know, I teach N2, K1, and K2. So the work that they do in every level is very different from the others. Then we'll be reviewing what is in your creative thematic packets. So those are the information packets that I'll be giving and you can take home today. I'll also be sharing with you about ways that you can support your child's learning, and then briefly discuss some points of interest, some housekeeping matters, some things that have been raised that we should discuss formally. And then at the end, Teacher Kumo and Teacher Chris will be speaking about their portfolios as well. So, just as a reminder, we can take a look here that our thematic curriculum is structured like this. If you see work in your child's packet that is now filled with sea creatures or lions, it's because they're related to the themes. So every month is a different theme. And in N2, the lessons are more about discovery. So the children are really discovering their interests, they're discovering how they want to learn, they're discovering how to form letters. So they're really exploring these concepts in a more intricate way. In K1, they're exploring. So they're doing a lot more play with these concepts. They're trying to build these concepts, develop their writing skills, develop their personal emotional skills. And then in K2, it's more about application. You may see your K2 children have some quite difficult tasks in their creative thematic portfolios because they're now ready to apply the knowledge that they've learned. So we're giving them challenges is very important to really push their learning and make them feel motivated in their classes. As you can see, we also have our character strength list. Now, there is a change. You can see in June, we added an additional character strength. One of the benefits of doing curriculum development is that we can respond to the children's needs. So in June, we felt there was a need to formally teach integrity, so we went ahead and did that. So you can see that even within our themes, this is quite flexible. In March, the children typically learn about space, but we wanted to emphasize the importance of water conservation. So during our lessons, we learned about water for the month instead. So there is a bit of flexibility with all of these things. Now, the following slides, I know the font is very small, please don't panic. I'll be sending all of you these slides so you can take a look very carefully yourselves. But this is just a general overview of some of the goals that we have for each level. In N2, these are some of our learning goals. So like I said, N2 is all about discovery. We want the children to practice developing their awareness of numbers, letters, even practice writing their names. If your child is not writing their name perfectly yet in N2, don't panic. There are processes. There are steps to the writing process. Every child learns differently. I had children last year who didn't even attempt their names. And this year in K1, they're writing them beautifully. Every child has a different learning journey. So we just have to encourage them. With respect to K1, they're exploring those concepts. K1 is quite exciting because they're doing, children who need to really practice those things learned in N2 have the time and the opportunity to do so. Some children are ready for a challenge. So they're given more difficult work, they're asked to collaborate more. We're doing more with respect to STEM lessons, so science and technology and engineering. So you may have heard your children talking about Codapillar. It's teaching them the basics of computers and coding. So these types of things really help them to develop a broader sense of the discovery of the world concept, science, and how we can then apply it in K2. And then in K2, we're really doing a lot of application. The children in K2 really, at this point, feel like, I'm ready to run with this information, what do I do next? So application is crucial. So you can see a lot of what they are doing is actually quite exciting. And as one parent was asking, what about preparation for P1? That is the goal of a K2 program. Preparing your child for P1, making sure that they will succeed is something that's very important to us. So, like I said, you can take a look at those in more detail once we send the slides, so you can read them very carefully. In my student performance packets, Many of you should be receiving art projects as the children do them, maybe even a couple weeks after they've been done, so they can dry and not get your homes too messy. But in my package, you'll see a lot of STEM work, so a lot of vocabulary building, a lot of understanding about the parts of the body or the parts of the tooth this month. You'll see a lot of language and literacy work, so phonics, writing skills, reading passages. You will also see some numeracy activities, which I did not include here, but you will see some numeracy activities as well. So what skills within numeracy are your children practicing? Are they learning data collection? Are they just practicing identifying how numbers can appear differently in a particular set? And then you'll also receive commentary, general comments about your child's progress. If you have specific questions, please feel free to ask. At the end of our presentations today, you'll be receiving a portfolio as well as my comments. So please look over those. You can keep mine. You can take those home. And then we can also meet either today or at another time at your convenience to discuss how your child is doing. So what are some ways that you can actually support your child's learning? There are a few tips. Some of you are already doing them, which is wonderful. The first, read with your children. Reading in school is great, but reading at home really instills in the child that reading is something important, it's something valuable, and it's something that will make them just as great as mommy and daddy. So sharing that experience with them is very important. Reducing screen time. I cannot stress this enough. Children who are overexposed to screen time typically have lower attention spans and are typically exhibiting more unstable behavioral patterns. I really strongly suggest reducing screen time and having your child do more play-based activities. Get them away from computers and handphones and TVs. Have them play with each other. Have them interact with each other. See how they are able to grow. Children are sponges, so if all they see is a screen, that's all they want, and it becomes like an addiction. So reducing their screen time is really helpful. Also, positive reinforcement is really, really important. This also goes along with point 3 about exploring Singaporean educational opportunities. This country is amazing. I moved here last year, and I'm so impressed with how many opportunities there are for children to explore and learn about the world around them. They can learn about the history of the country. They can explore different concepts in STEM. They can do different artistic activities, and most of these things are free. Taking time to do these activities with your children will really give them a stronger sense of appreciation for where they live, the things they're able to do, and for that quality time with you as well. It'll motivate them to improve upon their learning. I have one student here today, I think actually he left now, but he was so knowledgeable about sea creatures that his parents took him to the aquarium, and he contributed greatly to our discussions. In K1, he knew about sea creatures I had never heard of. In K1, that's a 5-year-old. So really make the most of these things that you have available at your fingertips. And then finally, and I cannot stress this enough either, please communicate with us. We're here to support you. If we cannot speak today, make a time with us. We'll make the time to speak with you. Please understand that not every time works. Sometimes there are conflicts, but we can make something work. So really, I really appreciate those of you who have taken the time to come. And last year, I cannot tell you how many success stories there were. I had a number of parents come to me expressing concern about their child's development. We were able to discuss what they needed to do in order to improve, and they made a complete 180. The children have really improved. I mean, I could go on and on. I bet there's one specific example where the family really was, they're a very educated family, very, they understand that they have been given lots of opportunities and their child has also been afforded those opportunities. They couldn't understand why he wasn't learning and why he wasn't meeting his milestones. After discussing and coming up with a plan for him, he made a complete change. Now he's very participative, he's improving, and he's meeting all of his K1 milestones. So I cannot tell you how important it is to communicate with us so that we can help your children. Now, some of you may be wondering about different ways that you can get involved in your child's learning here at school. There are lots of things. We always have projects going on, like the SSDB project that many of you attended. And so this project is continuing on, and we're doing different activities as well to support it. If you would like to be a part of these activities, let us know. We'd be happy to have volunteers, extra hands on deck to support us through these activities. So please just approach us and we'd be happy to put you to work.